our supply looks a lot better to our demand partners because their win rates are higher, the click-through rates are higher, the viewability rates are higher, and that has resulted in an overall programmatic revenue increase for us of 63%, which we can directly attribute to Assertive Yield's Yield Manager. That's pretty impressive. My name is Jan Van Der Crabben. I am the CEO and founder of World History Encyclopedia, a nonprofit organization that publishes the most read history website in the world. We initially had a setup that we had built ourselves, which we were really proud of because it was a custom-built Prebid that had lazy loading integrated, that had our own refresh based on user activity and ads being in view and so on. So, we had 80% viewability metrics, and we thought we were doing really well because of all the coding that we had invested into our Prebid stack, combined with Google Ad Manager and Amazon TAM. Now, because of that, initially we were actually a little bit reluctant to try out Assertive Yield because we thought, we already have something amazing. Why should we invest time in testing out another solution which requires a little bit of, new setup and some coding and some administration and so on. So we started with Assertive Yield based on the analytics solution that I think they came out with, and that was really helpful. But what really changed the game for us in terms of revenue, which of course is the primary goal of any sort of advertising setup, is the Yield Manager solution that Assertive Yield provides, which includes things like lazy loading, ad refresh, a custom and rather impressive bid caching mechanism, dynamic floor pricing, all of these things that had a major impact on our revenue overall. Assertive Yield has built a custom Prebid wrapper that is really good at loading ads at extremely high speeds and caching them intelligently based on the creative size and the different ad placements on the web page. And as a result, the ads are there faster. We can cache the highest bids, have them assigned to the most useful placements on the page. And when they get lazy loaded in, the ad is essentially loaded instantly without having to trigger an additional auction. As such, our supply looks a lot better to our demand partners because their win rates are higher, the click-through rates are higher, the viewability rates are higher, and that has resulted in an overall programmatic revenue increase for us of 63%, which we can directly attribute to Assertive Yield's Yield Manager. That's pretty impressive. Now, what happened though is when we switched to Yield Manager is that very quickly we saw a significant increase in our revenue overall, which, within a few weeks was somewhere around 25% increase in overall advertising revenue from programmatic advertising. And the revenue increase continued over the following months. And we are now at a plus 63% increase in overall programmatic advertising revenue, which we can, due to our A/B testing, directly associate with Assertive Yield's Yield Manager solution. Our revenue per 1,000 sessions, or RPM, was basically flat for 6 months prior to using Assertive Yield. We then A/B tested Assertive Yield for several weeks in order to be sure that it generated positive returns, which it did. We then turned off the A/B test and ran our entire stack on Assertive Yield. And as I said, the revenue per session continued to increase and is probably still increasing, even though we have sort of leveled out a little bit now. Assertive Yield was a big surprise for us because we thought we were doing really well, but it turns out that Assertive Yield's features actually were far superior to what we were doing.